Hello, welcome. Tonight I will speak about another book that I've written, or in general about my grimoires, which are special type of books that have like a special purpose of some type of initiation, of learning, of spiritualism, of secret or occult knowledge, and it has a specific doctrine, of course. So in a literary sense, it is written in verse, or my grimoires are written in verse, and that's for a specific reason of developing the structure of the novel. But finally, it is a story, it is fantasy. But from the style itself, it does carry something that doesn't deal with the usual. It's something that it moves through a sphere which is has to do with the psychic, has to do with the spiritual form, Of course, all connected with the emotional. There's no separation in that meaning, but the grimoire is a specific literal work. It's written in verse that has many hundred pages. Generally, grimoires can be or should be longer, It is not a simple story. It is a combination of stories written through history and somehow, of course, even developing of the story, so it has, as any work art, freedom. So the other aspect of the grimoire is that it is written in verse, and that means that it has a very beautiful poetic meaning. It is a poem, It's very much like the Greeks or the Latin, but it's not necessarily only of that. It is the most oldest form of giving message or transporting, So it is an ancient literary of work. It does carry those aspects that are old or prescribed or even in a form conservative, So it has to rhyme, it has to have specific lines. My grimoires are written not in stropha, it is written like a river, it all flows in one, but it is a longer story. There are parts in the grimoires that repeat themselves, or stories that come, but it is always said in a different way, or it has a meaning of the importance of it, or it's just a literary form as well. It does carry that freedom, So it is more a spiritual book. It has more a spiritual meaning. At the same time, it does create a story. It does create the fantasy aspect of it as well. And my grimoires, I have written a few, are all written in verse. They all have very beautiful cadence, so a specific rhythm and a specific rhyme that goes. So it's very interesting to see because it's a very long poem, how one can rhyme and rhyme and rhyme. So it is a higher form of literary text. Already verses or poetry in general, they do carry a higher potency. They are more better understood, better seen, more beautiful expressed or formed, And it has the beautiful rhyme. That's why I like very much to read, and it does give a very nice space to understand the story and go through the story even in a faster rhythms. And of course the story sometimes it goes in more softer side, or it goes in more darker side, or more important side, It does carry the structure of a novella in the meaning it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It has a form that it does carry, or more elements of this in this higher pitch tone of the story. Of course, one notices that this seems more important, or this is more a transitional phase, from one scene to another. And the grimoires, they say, well, they do carry a very beautiful story. They do carry different stories that are connected to the past, or in some way or another are like some type of mythos, or stories from the past developed in a different way. So it is a way, of course, a modern play or a modern work art, The book too, it enters in these categories as well. But not to get too scientific about it, I see like the grimoire has a lot of meaning to transport the story. I can say that for me as a writer, it is a faster and better type of work. I can express a lot, in a form that it feels interesting for me as well. And the first grimoire that I've written was the Grimoire of King Paimon, and it was like my largest book until now, almost or even more than 700 pages. So it does create a larger book as well. the Grimoire of King Paimon is a very beautiful, very specific type of grimoire. I do recommend it. I call it my masterpiece because this is my most important book that I choose for me, as a writer, to create and write, and it has a specific beautiful meaning for me as well. And the story follows King Paimon that has a certain type of aura of not knowing so much about him. At the same time, a big part of it's very secrecy, the secrecy element of King Paimon. At the same time, the kingship or the kingmanship that he carries, the master element that he carries. And all my grimoires speak about characters like that. They are masters in their field or masters in their environment. They're very strong personalities, very wise and very interesting. There is this secrecy element, the magical element, the element of understanding beyond words. There's certain barriers that are developed in that type of freedom that I enjoy as a writer. And for the stories, of course, it does create a more specific more interest, like almost like a spice that you use in the food. It does create all the little differences and all the specific details, but the story itself should be always very, very calm, that the reader should follow the story in a very calm, in a very energetic way, At least that's the way I create my books or my grimoires. There's a lot of under-layout work, of course, then the poetic or literary work, then the aspect of understanding the message or understanding the book, or giving honor to the book the way the book deserves, So this is like for people who in general like to write or have this interest in this type of knowledge, almost like trying to escape or explain how the work of a writer really goes. So it is more layout and more underlined than one thinks. It is finally a construction. Finally, it came from an idea and transported in thought. It's transported in the material, in the mind, and then it takes a form that the writer has full control of it. So it is, a masterpiece in its way already, the master element of the book. And then there are different stories. These are different tastes or different genres or different categories that the book falls in, But I'll try to let my definition of the books for later on. In the creation process, I don't think about the title, I don't think about necessarily the genre, even if I have an idea about it, but that's not my main focus. My main focus is always the story. So always the character, how good or how perfect or how close to reality or how interesting I can make the character, and what exactly I want from that character to happen, to know, to see, and so on and so forth. So even those aspects are just extras, because as I've said, the main focus is always the story. The story has to be a beautiful story. The story has to carry meaning. The story has to revelate something, teach something new, bring something, answer some question, or give something back. It can be many different ways. And that's a beautiful aspect of any book. But the grimoires, that's what I want to say, do carry a lot of this type of seeds, like interest or knowledge, or expressions or feelings, or just the story as it is, plus of course the words, the sentences, the verses. They do carry much of this poetic beauty. So we find that it is a story, but it is told in verse. It's told almost like in a music way. The verse is connected to more melody or more poetic meaning. And this is pretty much the form of all of my grimoires. I have written approximately 8, and they're all different characters, but they carry quite the same approach to the way I started when I wrote them, But King Paimon being the first was a little I knew it's going to be a new genre. I knew I had to learn a lot, to be able to bring it forth. But so it is a really wonderful book. If anyone is interested to read, it's called King Paimon, Lord of the Endless Silence, the Lord of the Abyss, written by me, Anais Giulia. I'm the author of the book, and this is a recording part of a larger playlist where I speak about King Paimon. It is part of the understanding of the different elements of who King Paimon is, what he represents, his stories, his book. My book is a large part of that questions that I had for me as well, and trying to answer now in the historical point of view as well, or in the lyrical poetic form as well, or as I've said, a great novelist knows his characters, or tries to understand his character as much as possible, no? So you have very different aspects of it. And of course the aspect of the writer, of creating a story that it is literally new, no? It does bring something new, it does bring something unique or special to the table. And there's a different type of understanding as well, in connected to King Paimon, to think, well, King Paimon is already a sublime character from the beginning. My work was not to create him in any way, but to it was more backwards, no, to understand and to make sense of the things he showed me, or to tell his story in an honorable, beautiful way, as King Paimon deserves. I'd say there is emotional love, no, that I carry as a writer for my characters, and there's admiration aspect of it, of the knowledge they carry, or the wisdom they carry, or the elements of you know, as a person is, no? It has its specialty or unique taste or unique character, no? So one has to go deeper into that element of King Paimon. And in these recordings, I speak for others to let them know how King Paimon is, or what he carries, what his message is, what the book is about, as well as new somehow understandings, or help, or some type of message for others as well, if they are interested in writing books, or interested in connecting to books in a way from the perspective of the writer, or just in general the knowledge of the interest for King Paimon and his story, you know, that it is very magnetic, very enigmatic, and that's the aspect I love so much about grimoires. That's the aspect that gives me that approach, that's something new for me, something exciting, something mesmerizing, something very, very interesting, or very that I didn't know, that I didn't understand, or it always gives this type of knowledge. It's more than the story itself. And I will leave this recording here. If you want to listen to the playlist of King Paimon, it's the best to start from the beginning, but in general, anyone, you know, carries a certain message that has a specific interest. If you want to see my books, I publish them on Amazon. You can type my name, Anais Giulia, or the book title, or you can check my description box. There is a link direct to my books, all the books I have written, and specifically to King Paimon as well. As I said, it is a larger book. It is a grimoire. It speaks about the story of King Paimon, and it does carry, of course, many surprises. I don't speak so much on the subject, because as the subject already is, it is a form of something new, something enigmatic, mysterious, something that it is specifically for you as well, no? Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, bye.